Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad 90 Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and today we're continuing on with part 5 of building Aurora. All right, and you may recall at the end of part 4, I gave a little bit of teaser of what this part would be about. And as I've mentioned before, at the Real Rails train show last weekend, I picked up a number of kits, one of which was this flour mill. Okay, and it's already built. It is one that I was going to buy the kit for anyway, and got a huge deal on it that I couldn't pass up. But what it entails is it's got to become, I got to truncate it, taking out 2 floors while letting the face there drop down to track level. Okay, so the rail dock will be at the track level. The back side of the building with the truck dock will be 2 floors tall. Okay, does that make sense? Now, a number of things have to happen to this kit in this part. If you look on the back side, there's a little part of the building sticks out. That's a mechanical room. That's got to come off. That's got to be put on to the side closest to us. The windows have been semi-blacked out. You get a little bit of light through them, but not a whole lot. So I need to take some of that off. That'll be a challenge. Plus, add the lighting, of course. So let's take a look and see what I'm talking about. The teaser included this shot, and you can see how I've already truncated the building. All right, cutting 2 floors off. Now, okay, here's the 2 floors. Let me show you this. Now, these are not the 2 upper floors, nor the 2 lower floors. These are the 2 middle floors. Now, why did I have to do that? The reason being, the upper floor has the cornice around the building and a wider gap above the windows. Okay? The lower floor sits up higher off the ground and thus has a bigger gap between the ground and the windows than there is between the floors. And to make the pattern of the concrete panels line up properly. So I had to cut the 2 center floors off. As you can see, it's still rough cut, etc. So I did that, and the picture I had up before, this one, just has the bottom floor tacked onto the upper floor, okay, at that point. So I've done a little bit of work with it, and I've gone back first, filling in with putty. Let's see if you might be able to see where that joint is back there, the light. I filled that with some putty up here and all the way around, and then also came and did a light coating on the outside. Now, I'm not too concerned with the back side of the building because it won't be visible except looking down from one side or the other. So I'm not as concerned with that as I am here. Now, I've gone ahead and I have sculpted and sanded it on these 2 sides. I've taken that utility room that was originally on the back here. I've taken it off and moved it over here to the side. Okay. So what do I have to do now? I have the support, the bars that support the roof for the truck dock are missing. So I got to take some brass rod and fill in 5 of those, holding up, supporting that roof. All right. I've got to paint the sides, etc., so the putty isn't visible. Okay? I don't have to do anything to the front at this point. I will weather the whole building once everything else is done. Now the other thing is there's no inner treatment for the plastic. So when there's a light in there, it bleeds right on through. Okay? So I've got to paint the inside of the building so that I don't have any light bleed for Mr. John Lincoln. And add a bus bar, add lighting, etc. Now there's going to be 4 bulbs. There'll be one under the rail dock shed here. There'll be one under the truck dock awning back here, and 2 on the inside. Okay. Now probably going to use brass rod on this building. Okay. Some buildings I use the copper tape. But I'm afraid if I tried to solder the leads to the copper tape stuck to the plastic, like on the roof here, that I would get some melting. So I can suspend some brass rods across the length in here, 2 of them, one for each, one for positive, one for negative, and then hook the 4 light bulbs up to that. Okay? And of course, add in the RCA, the male RCA plug that'll plug into one of the female plugs on the Aurora's bus line, one of the bus lines. Okay, so that's a lot of work to do. Like I say, I got to get after it. So stay tuned. Alrighty, so I've gone ahead and painted up the inside to help mask any light bleed, and guess what? Yeah, it didn't work very well. Trying to use brush paint to get an even coat on was problematic at best. I even tried some white cardstock. Again, I wanted it white so that I reflect the light that will be in there instead of black, which would absorb it. And that cardstock, which is in the upper portion, right there, didn't work any better. Didn't even help. The light went right on through that, through the coat of paint. So it's plan B again. So I've masked off the windows, and remember these windows have like a black wash on them to make them look dirty and dingy, which is pretty cool. It's just a little darker than what I want, so I'll address that in the next section of this tip of the day, which could be a long one. And so I've masked off the windows and the door windows, etc. And I'm gonna take it outside to my high-tech spray booth, aka the Great Outdoors, and give it a coat of primer gray on the inside. And as long as I'm doing that, I have the RJ Frost, I just call it Jack Frost, cold storage facility that I have not built yet. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the insides of those walls with the gray primer now as well. So stay tuned. Okay, so I got the inside painted, primer gray. We'll give it a chance to dry up and peel off the masking tape and doing touch-ups that may be necessary. It looks like it's in pretty good shape, and just give you kind of a preliminary idea. See it there. And while it looks like there might be a little light bleed around that red sign, center left, it's not. On close inspection, there's no light bleed there. So that seems like it's good to go. Stay tuned and we'll come back, peel the masking tape off, clean up those windows, and then mix up a batch of custom paint to blend the back and sides where I've used modeling putty and blend it into the same color as the rest of the structure. And after that, we'll do some weathering. All right, stay tuned. We're going to tin up the LED leads. Get those ready to go. Flux. Rosin. As I mentioned, there'll be 4 LEDs in this building. One under each of the loading canopies, and 2 on the inside of the building. So I mixed up and blended some paint and to match the concrete as best we can. And that hides most of the white. Now keep in mind, I'll come back over and do some weathering on that with some with a rust and wash and a black wash. And it should be relatively invisible, that new seam I created. Next thing I did was I added 2 brass rods across the center. And those are going to be my bus lines. And I secured those with some caulk, some DAP, quick seal on each end, and now it's time to solder in the 4 LEDs and the line for the plug-in. All right, so stay tuned. So, the King Midas flour mill, we've got it truncated, we've got it lit, we've done some light bleed protection to it. The only thing we're left with at this point is the weathering. But I've got some added plans for this kit, this kit bashed kit. And so stay tuned to the next part, and we'll look at what we're going to do to this kit that should even add further I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad. Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.